I want to show you something that changed how I think about wealth forever. It's a simple calculation that most people never perform, and the result explains why some people escape poverty while others remain trapped regardless of income. Take your annual savings and divide it by 365. That number represents what you're paying yourself each day. For most Americans, that number is somewhere between $0 and $20. Many people, including high earners, land at zero or negative. Now take the wealthiest person you personally know. Not a celebrity, someone you've actually met. Calculate their daily savings rate during their building years. The number is probably somewhere between $100 and $500 per day. The gap between these two numbers explains almost everything about financial outcomes. Not intelligence, not luck, not connections. The daily deposit into your future self's account determines where you land. Here's what makes this powerful. The daily frame changes the psychology completely. Saving $36,500 per year sounds impossible for most people. Saving $100 per day sounds difficult but achievable. They're the same number, but one feels within reach while the other feels absurd. This video is about rebuilding your financial life around daily actions, not monthly budgets that get abandoned, not annual goals that fade by February. Daily systems that compound whether you're motivated or not, whether life is easy or hard, whether the economy cooperates or struggles. By the end of this video, you'll have a specific daily protocol that makes staying poor genuinely difficult, not because of willpower or discipline, but because the system itself produces results automatically. Let me show you exactly how this works step by step. The foundation of daily wealth building rests on something I call the morning money minute. This single habit, taking less than 60 seconds, creates more financial progress than hours of monthly budgeting ever could. Here's the protocol. Every morning, before checking email or social media, open your primary financial app and look at three numbers: your checking account balance, your total debt balance, your investment account balance. Don't analyze, don't plan, don't stress, just observe. This sounds almost too simple to matter. The impact is profound for reasons rooted in behavioral psychology. When you observe something daily, your brain treats it as important. Financial numbers that get checked monthly feel abstract and distant. Financial numbers that get checked daily feel immediate and real. Your subconscious starts optimizing for those numbers even when you're not consciously thinking about them. The morning timing matters because it sets a frame for daily decisions. When you've just looked at your debt balance, the impulse purchase at lunch feels different. When you've just seen your investment account, the decision to pack lunch instead of buying it connects to something tangible. The morning observation creates a through line between small daily choices and larger financial outcomes. I've seen people transform their finances through this single habit alone, not because looking at numbers magically creates money, but because daily awareness changes daily behavior. The person who checks their accounts every morning makes different choices than the person who avoids looking until absolutely necessary. The avoidance pattern is incredibly common among people struggling financially. They don't want to see the numbers because the numbers cause stress. But avoidance enables the very behaviors that make the numbers worse. The debt grows larger, the savings stay stagnant, the stress increases, the avoidance deepens. The Morning Money Minute breaks this cycle by normalizing financial awareness. After a few weeks of daily observation, the numbers lose their emotional charge. They become information rather than judgment. This emotional neutrality enables clear thinking about financial decisions throughout the day. Start tomorrow morning. 60 seconds. 3 numbers. No analysis required. Just look. The second daily habit involves what I call the 24-hour wealth capture. This is where actual money gets generated, and it requires understanding a concept most people never consider. Every day, money flows through your life. It arrives through paychecks, side income, refunds, cashback, random windfalls. It departs through expenses, bills, impulse purchases, subscription renewals. Most people let this flow happen passively, capturing whatever happens to remain at the end of the month. The 24-hour wealth capture flips this dynamic. Instead of saving what's left over, you capture wealth first thing each day before spending has a chance to consume it. The mechanical process works like this. Set up a separate savings or investment account that you don't touch for daily expenses. Configure an automatic daily transfer from your checking account to this wealth capture account. The amount can be small initially, even $5 or $10. The consistency matters more than the quantity. Here's the psychology behind daily versus monthly transfers. A monthly transfer of $300 feels like a significant event. It creates a noticeable dip in your checking balance. It triggers loss aversion and sometimes gets skipped when the month feels tight. A daily transfer of $10 feels almost invisible. Your checking balance barely moves. The loss aversion trigger doesn't fire. The transfer happens automatically without emotional resistance. Yet over the month, you've captured the same $300. The daily approach also smooths out income variability. If you get paid bi-weekly, a monthly transfer might hit when your balance is low. Daily transfers spread the capture across your entire pay cycle, reducing the chance that any single transfer causes problems. The compounding of daily capture extends beyond just the money itself. Each successful transfer reinforces the identity of someone who builds wealth. After 30 days, you've made 30 deposits into your future. After a year, you've made 365 deposits. The habit becomes part of who you are, rather than something you're trying to do. Start with whatever amount feels completely painless. $5 daily is $1,825 per year. $10 daily is $3,650 per year. $20 daily is $7,300 per year. These numbers seem modest until you realize that most Americans save nothing or negative amounts annually. Any positive daily capture puts you ahead of the majority. As your income grows or expenses decrease, increment the daily capture amount. Someone who starts at $10 daily and increases by just $2 every 6 months will be capturing over $30 daily within 5 years. That's nearly $10,000 per year accumulated automatically without any monthly budgeting discussions or willpower battles. The third daily habit addresses the expense side of the equation through something I call the sunset spending review. Every evening, take 2 minutes to review what you spent that day. Not to judge yourself, not to feel guilty, just to observe and categorize. Open your banking app or credit card app. Look at today's transactions. For each one, mentally categorize it as either intentional or reactive. Intentional spending was planned or necessary. Reactive spending happened impulsively or emotionally. This daily review accomplishes something that monthly budget reviews cannot. It captures the emotional context of spending while it's still fresh. When you review a month of transactions, you can't remember why you bought most things. When you review today's transactions, you remember exactly what you were feeling when you made each purchase. The reactive spending patterns become obvious within a week or two of daily review. Maybe you spend reactively when stressed at work. Maybe you spend reactively when bored in the evening. Maybe you spend reactively after social media exposure. The triggers reveal themselves through daily observation. Once you identify your reactive spending triggers, you can address them directly. The person who realizes they spend impulsively when stressed can develop alternative stress responses. The person who realizes they spend when bored can engineer their environment to reduce boredom. The person who realizes social media triggers spending can adjust their media consumption. Monthly budgets attempt to control spending through willpower and restriction. Daily reviews address spending through awareness and pattern recognition. The daily approach proves far more sustainable because it works with human psychology rather than against it. The sunset review should take no more than 2 minutes. Scroll through today's transactions. Note which were intentional versus reactive. Notice any patterns. That's it. The brevity ensures the habit survives busy days and stressful periods. The fourth daily habit might seem counterintuitive for a video about building wealth. It's a daily investment in learning that pays returns for decades. Every day, spend at least 15 minutes learning something that increases your earning capacity. This might be reading about your industry, developing a technical skill, studying negotiation and communication, learning about business models, or deepening expertise in your field. The connection between daily learning and wealth building is indirect but powerful. Your income represents the market value of your skills, knowledge, and network. Increasing any of these increases your income potential. 15 minutes daily compounds into over 90 hours annually of skill development. Consider the difference between two people starting similar jobs at age 25. One consumes entertainment during all non-work hours. The other dedicates 15 minutes daily to deliberate skill building. After 10 years, the first person has the same skills they started with, perhaps somewhat atrophied. The second person has accumulated over 900 hours of additional development. The income trajectories of these two people diverge dramatically. The daily learner qualifies for promotions, commands higher salaries in negotiations, adapts to industry changes, and accumulates capabilities that translate to multiple income streams. The non-learner stagnates, becomes vulnerable to displacement, and watches their relative value decline. The 15-minute threshold is intentional. It's short enough to fit into any schedule. It's long enough to make genuine progress. It's consistent enough to compound meaningfully over years. What you learn matters less than the consistency of learning. Someone who reads about leadership for 15 minutes daily will become more promotable. Someone who learns sales skills for 15 minutes daily will become more valuable. Someone who studies their industry for 15 minutes daily will spot opportunities others miss. Make the 15 minutes non-negotiable. Morning before work, lunch break, evening before bed. Find a consistent slot and protect it. The compound returns from daily learning exceed almost any other investment you could make. The fifth daily habit ties all the others together through a brief evening planning session I call the tomorrow optimization. Before bed, spend 3 minutes planning tomorrow's financial behavior. Identify any spending decisions you'll face. Anticipate any triggers that might cause reactive spending. Set a specific intention for your wealth capture and any discretionary choices. This planning habit leverages a psychological principle called implementation intention. Research consistently shows that people who specify when, where, and how they'll perform a behavior are dramatically more likely to follow through than people who simply intend to do something. Vague intention. I'll save money tomorrow. Implementation intention. Tomorrow, I'll bring lunch from home, skip the afternoon coffee shop visit, and transfer my daily capture amount before checking email. The specificity transforms abstract goals into concrete plans. Your brain knows exactly what to do when tomorrow arrives. Decision fatigue gets reduced because the decisions were already made the night before. The tomorrow optimization should also identify the highest value use of your learning time. What specifically will you study during your 15 minutes? Having this planned eliminates the friction of deciding in the moment, which often leads to choosing entertainment instead. 3 minutes of evening planning can save hours of decision-making and prevent hundreds of dollars in reactive spending throughout the month. The leverage on this small time investment is extraordinary. Let me now show you how these 5 daily habits combine into a complete wealth-building system. Your morning starts with the Money Minute, 60 seconds observing your 3 key numbers. This activates financial awareness for the day ahead. Your wealth capture transfer happens automatically, but your morning observation reinforces the habit and its importance. You see the number growing incrementally each day. Throughout the day, your morning awareness influences decisions, the lunch choice, the impulse temptation, the upgrade offer. Each decision connects to the numbers you observed that morning. Your 15 minutes of learning happens at whatever time you've designated. The consistency matters more than the specific timing. The knowledge accumulates regardless of any single day's lesson. Your evening includes the Sunset Spending Review, 2 minutes examining today's transactions and noticing patterns. This closes the loop on daily spending and informs future choices. Finally, your tomorrow optimization plans the next day's financial behavior. 3 minutes of specific planning that makes tomorrow's success more likely. Total daily time investment, approximately 23 minutes. Total annual time investment, about 140 hours. The return on this time investment exceeds any other use of 140 hours annually. Now let me address why this daily approach succeeds where other financial strategies fail. Monthly budgeting fails because the feedback loop is too long. You make decisions throughout the month, then review results once at the end. By then, you've forgotten why you made most decisions. The connection between behavior and outcome gets lost. The budget becomes a scorecard of failure rather than a tool for improvement. Annual financial planning fails because life changes faster than annual cycles. The goals set in January become irrelevant by March. The motivation present during planning dissipates within weeks. The plan sits in a drawer while daily life proceeds without reference to it. Daily habits succeed because they create tight feedback loops and compound consistently. Each day connects to the day before and the day after. The system self-corrects because you're observing and adjusting continuously rather than waiting for monthly or annual reviews. Daily habits also survive disruption better than periodic planning. When something interrupts your monthly budget review, you might not review for 2 or 3 months. When something interrupts a daily habit, you miss one day and resume the next. The system proves resilient because no single day carries excessive importance. The psychological sustainability of daily habits exceeds any other approach. They become automatic through repetition. They feel normal rather than effortful. They persist through motivation fluctuations because they've been wired into your daily routine. Let me give you the implementation sequence for adopting these habits without overwhelming yourself. Week 1. Implement only the morning money minute. 60 seconds each morning looking at your 3 numbers. Don't add anything else. Just establish this single habit until it feels automatic. Week 2. Add the daily wealth capture transfer. Set up automatic daily transfers of whatever amount feels painless. Continue the morning money minute. Week 3. Add the sunset spending review. 2 minutes each evening examining daily transactions. Continue the previous habits. Week 4. Add the 15-minute learning block. Identify a consistent time and protect it. Continue all previous habits. Week 5. Add the tomorrow optimization. 3 minutes of evening planning. All 5 habits now operate together. This staggered implementation prevents the common failure mode of trying to change everything simultaneously. Each habit gets time to establish before the next one gets added. By week 5, you have a complete daily wealth-building system that required minimal willpower to construct. Some people will want to accelerate this timeline. That usually leads to abandoning everything by week 3. The slow build proves faster in the long run because habits that stick beat habits that fail. Let me address the math of what these daily habits produce over various timeframes. Assume you start with a modest daily capture of $15. That's $5,475 in the first year. At a 7% average return, that grows to approximately $5,850 by the end of year 1. By year 5, you've captured $27,375, and it's grown to approximately $34,000 with investment returns helping. By year 10, you've captured $54,750, and it's grown to approximately $82,000. By year 20, you've captured $109,500, and it's grown to approximately $240,000. Now, assume your daily capture increases as your income grows. Starting at $15 and increasing by $5 annually, you'd be capturing $50 daily by year 8. The 20-year accumulation under this scenario exceeds $400,000. These numbers assume nothing exceptional happens. No inheritance, no lottery win, no startup exit, just consistent daily capture and reasonable market returns. The mundane daily habit produces extraordinary long-term results. The learning habit compounds separately but equally powerfully. 15 minutes daily across 20 years represents over 1,800 hours of skill development. That's roughly equivalent to a full year of additional education spread across your working life. The income impact of this accumulated learning could easily double the financial numbers above. The spending awareness from daily review saves money that also compounds. If the sunset review and tomorrow optimization prevent just $10 of reactive spending daily, that's another $3,650 annually that can flow into wealth capture. Over 20 years, that prevented spending alone could account for over $150,000 in additional wealth. Add these streams together and the daily habit system can realistically produce $500,000 to $1 million in wealth accumulation over a 20-year period for someone starting with average income. The daily frame makes this achievable because each day's contribution feels manageable, even when the 20-year total seems impossible. There's a deeper transformation that happens beyond just the numbers. People who implement daily financial habits develop an identity as someone who builds wealth. This identity shift matters more than any specific tactic because identity drives behavior automatically. When someone identifies as a wealth builder, spending decisions become easier. The question isn't, can I afford this, but does this align with who I am? The wealth builder identity makes frugality feel natural rather than restrictive. It makes investing feel exciting rather than deferred gratification. It makes financial progress feel inevitable rather than hopeful. This identity formation happens through daily action. Each morning money minute reinforces the identity. Each wealth capture transfer confirms it. Each sunset review strengthens it. Each learning session develops it. Each tomorrow optimization expresses it. After 100 days of these habits, you're no longer someone trying to build wealth. You're someone who builds wealth. The distinction seems subtle, but proves transformational. People with wealth builder identity don't need motivation to continue. They don't struggle with consistency. They don't abandon habits when life gets difficult. The habits express who they are, rather than what they're attempting. The identity carries the behavior automatically. Let me leave you with a perspective on why this moment, right now in 2026, represents an unusual opportunity for daily wealth building. Technology has removed nearly all friction from the daily habits I've described. Automatic transfers happen instantly and freely. Banking apps show balances in seconds. Learning resources are abundant and often free. Calendar apps can remind and prompt without effort. 20 years ago, implementing these daily habits would have required manual bank visits, paper tracking, library trips, and physical planners. The friction would have made daily consistency genuinely difficult. Today, the only friction is psychological. The habits themselves take less than half an hour combined. The mechanical execution requires almost no effort. The barrier is purely whether you decide to do it. This technological leverage makes the daily approach more powerful than it's ever been. Someone implementing these habits in 2026 has advantages that previous generations couldn't access. The compound returns remain the same, but the ease of capturing them has increased dramatically. The other factor making this moment unique is economic uncertainty. Inflation concerns, market volatility, job market shifts, artificial intelligence disruption. The future feels less predictable than past decades. Daily habits provide resilience against uncertainty in ways that point-in-time planning cannot. Someone with strong daily wealth-building habits adapts to changing circumstances automatically. Their system continues producing results regardless of what happens in markets, politics, or technology. Monthly budgets become obsolete when circumstances change. Annual plans become irrelevant when assumptions prove wrong. Daily habits persist because they respond to current reality rather than projecting future certainty. The person who builds wealth daily in 2026 will navigate whatever 2027 through 2046 bring with accumulated resources and ingrained habits. Their daily system produces results independent of external conditions. Here's what I want you to do right now. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't plan to start Monday. Take one action in the next 60 seconds that commits you to beginning. Set an alarm for tomorrow morning labeled Money Minute. That's it, one alarm. That single action creates accountability for starting the first habit tomorrow. The alarm costs nothing. It requires no information. It takes 10 seconds, but setting it creates commitment. Tomorrow morning, when the alarm sounds, you'll remember this video and the system it described. You'll perform your first Money Minute. The cascade will begin. Most people watching this video will do nothing. They'll find the ideas interesting, maybe even compelling, and then continue with existing patterns. A year from now, they'll be in roughly the same financial position. A small percentage will set the alarm. They'll start the Money Minute tomorrow. They'll add habits over the following weeks. A year from now, they'll have accumulated thousands of dollars and developed identity as wealth builders. 5 years from now, the gap between them and the people who did nothing will be enormous. The daily habits I've described are not complicated. They're not secret. They're not exclusive to people with special advantages. They're available to anyone willing to spend 23 minutes daily on their financial future. The only question is whether you'll be in the group that implements or the group that intends to implement someday. Someday is a trap. Someday never arrives. The people who build wealth take action today, specifically today, and then again tomorrow, and then again the day after. 23 minutes daily. 5 simple habits. Compound results that make staying poor genuinely difficult. The system is now in your hands. What happens next is entirely up to you.